Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. This is recording 181, entitled, The Search Will Be Intense. The search meaning the search for God. I was telling a friend not just moments ago that as I was in meditation a couple of days ago, something opened up and I was able to see it. It only stayed open for about 2 seconds. But I saw what I saw and I felt what I felt, then it closed off. And you find yourself after that trying to recreate, if you can, the feeling that came along with what you perceived. And you said, boy, if I could just recreate that, when you realize it wasn't you that created it in the first place, you had just gotten to a place where you saw. And to me, that's where the intensity is. It's not so much what happens between you and other people out here, because that's going to be intense. But the further that you go, you'll find that that intensity won't matter much when you know what you know, what you know. But you cannot relay it to them, or you can't prove it to them. You just have to go on. And as I was speaking with another friend the other day, we both agree that as you are searching for God and you come upon what it is you know, you find that it separates you from those that you're having relations with, whether they're mother, father, sister, brother, uncles, nephew, friends, business acquaintances. It begins to separate you because you'll find that your conversation has no merit with them. And you'll find that their conversation has even less merit. One of the major things that kind of fits into this conversation tonight is, if you're paying any attention, you may have seen Kirk Franklin's face on social media, on the news as of late, because it's going viral. And what it is a conversation got taped between him and his son. And he's using language that, would be like, oh, Lord, that's Kirk Franklin. And then you got people on this side saying, well, he's taking all he can off his son and he's raising kids and blah, 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 blah. And then you got on the other side, that's not a Christian. He shouldn't be talking like that. Who does he, that type of thing. And you find yourself in the middle because you can't go to either side to say you're wrong or you're wrong or you're right or you're right. You can only know that when those portals open, you see and feel, and then you have to stay there. Even though you can't recreate that situation, you stay in the growth pattern. And it lets me know that God has given us, I said this last week because it came to me, God has given us the special life, a special life. And if you look at it as a ladder, you can live on the lowest rung if you want to, because that's the God life. Or you can live in the middle, which would be the provisions of God being given to you so that you can make it and think you got, or you can go to where Jesus Christ said, you can become a disciple. You can become a fisher of men. But nonetheless, that life is the special life. And it's the focus that you put on this life that's going to render unto you that which is already yours. And that's what we must go after if we are so inclined. See, it's not my responsibility to tell you what life you should live. You have a choice to live anywhere on that rung, on that ladder of the rung of ladders or ladder of rungs. You have the choice of living anywhere because it's all the God life. It's just that he said that the last enemy, or Paul says the last enemy that we must overcome is death. And Jesus said that if any man believes in him, he would never die. So what choices do I have? Can I eat the right foods. I could become a beefologist, or I could become a vegetarian. Is that going to guarantee me health? I can take vitamins. Is that going to guarantee me health? I can do exercise. I can think right thoughts. I can do all manner of things, and I can even consider suicide if I don't like this. And in every one of those situations, I am not in control. I have no control over the end result of my life. I cannot guarantee myself good health because I said something to God the other day, and I could have swore it was him speaking back. And it says, I am the health of thy countenance. Whoa. What is he doing? He's drawing us to a place to where our total dependency is on the Garden of Eden, or the tree of life. You can choose to do what he says, or you can choose to judge by appearances as they're coming at you and suggesting their outcome. And he's saying, if you choose the tree of good and evil, then you cannot eat from the tree of life. And if you choose the tree of life, you won't choose the tree of good and evil. So now you can kind of see the intensity that gets set up in you, because all day long and all night long, you are going to be faced with suggestions that ask you and sometimes demand of you to make a decision. Whereas God has, in the Bible, God has a quotation or a scripture that backs every category or every question that we could possibly ask, till you get to the one that really, really rattles everybody's cage, that says, take no thought for your life. And I remember saying to God the other day, you know what, I just give up. Not give up as in I want to quit. Since I'm not in control of anything, Lord, I simply want to be with you. I don't care what the end is, because it can't be bad if I'm with you. If you ask of me to do whatever, I'll do it without questioning, because you asked me to do it. All I really want to know is it you? And I'm the only one that can know that it's God, because if he hears me, then there's no way for any other presence to hear what conversation I'm having with God. Why? Because in him we live, in him we move, and in him we have our being. So if I'm in God, then what should I fear? Nothing. But that's where I got to get to. See the intensity that's setting in? I got to get to that understanding while I'm walking around with everything that's suggesting just the opposite. And it's coming at me a mile a second, not a mile a minute. These suggestions are coming to tell me that I can't. You can't. You can't. So now you can see we can set out to find God and the things of God. You can do it casually. If you look about you, that's basically what the world is doing now. They say that they're sincere. But if, like I said, if you're listening to the thing on Kurt Franklin, you'll be going, oh, my gosh, how did Christianity get there? And then to see people backing it up saying, yeah, he has the right to do that. I'm going, well, are you reading your Bible? Are you practicing what's in you? I can understand you getting mad. But he says, be angry and sin not. Did you ask what that sin not means? You see? So we can pray to God and find avenues to God. People can write books, tell you how to get stuff from God. But you know this one thing I noticed that they're not saying? You have to die. You have to die. Lay your life down. This is the stuff we skip over. Except the kernel of corn fall to the ground and die. I had a lady today said, so you do a Bible class? Yes, I do. She said, what time? I said, it'd be 5:45 this evening. She said, I said, but before you get so interested, I don't think you'd be interested in my class. I said, because it's teaching people how to die to themselves. And she said, well, that's what the scriptures say. I said, yeah, right. Okay, so you understand. She said, but the scriptures also say God would fight for us. I said, omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience. She said, yeah, one power. I said, so who is he fighting? I said, you have to learn to understand that this is a mystic that's writing the Bible. I guarantee you that when Moses was talking to God, when Elijah was talking to God, Elisha was talking to God, Noah, they weren't writing anything down. But for them to convey to us that they had a communion with God, they wrote it down on paper, and we've taken it and turned it into whatsoever we desire based on our situation. Is this Christianity? Would Jesus do some of the things that Christians are saying are okay to do today? Yeah, see, we can learn how to get certain things from God, but bottom line says, he says you can't get to that path that I'm talking to you about. He said you can't get to that unless you lay your life down. Oh, wow. Yeah. I saw on Facebook today where somebody put on there, I know God says he won't put no more on you than you can bear. I said, God never said that. Where they get this from? Lord knows I can't take no more. I wanted to write so much, baby, you going to take what's coming down that chute because God never said that. But how do you go to them and tell them? See, when you back a snake in a corner, what is he going to do? You back a dog in a corner, what is he going to do? Back a frog in a corner, what is he going to do? He's going to try to hop out of there, ain't he? You back somebody in a corner and show them that what they're relying on is not correct, you better guard your jugular vein because they're coming after you. They're not going to just try to get away. So if life was only to pray to God to get the things that we need or that we want or that we deserve, where is the laying down your life? Where does that fit in? Why does he require of us to take no thought for our life if all we have to do is go to church, try to stay out of arguments with people because we don't want to stir up the pot? You get my point. He's saying stay out of that argument because you know the truth. You know that argument is not worth getting into because nothing in it is true. But you're saying, no, I'm going to stay out of it because I just don't want to stir up nothing. That's not laying down your life. He said you would know the truth and the truth would make you free. Make. Wow, make. Something takes over your existence. I just all of a sudden saw a piece of bread laying there with the peanut butter already spread on it when I go to pick it up. Make. When you get there, it's already laid out for you. You would know the truth. That means you would be walking into a freedom, wouldn't it? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. They that walk in the Lord do not walk after the flesh, but they walk in what? They walk in the Spirit of life. When we set our realization set our sights on the realization of the true and living God, you will be met with continuous internal struggles and embattlement. Hopefully, I'm showing you that the only battle that's worthy of fighting is the battle that you fight with yourself. It does not matter what people are bringing to you, because they're bringing reasonings from the world. Now, my Bible tells me that the natural man is not under the protection of God. The gospel is foolishness unto him, and he is like a tree, like a limb of a tree that is cut off and withers. So if I never meet the true and living God in spirit, what am I but a resume that has added Christianity to it? But I'm still operating the way that I always operated. I'm going to be good to you until I can't be good to you anymore, and then I'm going to pull out my gun, and I'm going to start shooting, and I'm going to fire, and I'm going to say all manner of things, and I'm going to always find somebody that's going to agree with me, and I'm going to always find somebody that is going to disagree with me. But if I'm doing what God said do, he says, I will contend with them that contend with you. So what is the contention that people would have? The contention is only that they would come, suggestion. Please, erase the people, because you're not fighting with people. You're fighting with the concepts that are coming from the people and the concepts that are coming from the world. Why would I say that? Because every person is a child of God. You cannot walk around and see yourself as a child of God and the rest of them not, and you are out here to save them. That's not it. If you can come to the place where you realize that you are the expressed and living image of the living God, then you must see them the same way. That's why Jesus would say, forgive them. See the intense struggle you're in now? That guy's out there acting like I don't know what, and you got to go forgive them, Lord, and you got to mean it. They know not who they are. Every victory that you gain in those little, like I said, those little portals that open up and let you see, when Jesus said, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of heaven. And the world took that to mean that he was saying, you will see all of these formations out here in the world just suddenly becoming your ownership. New cars, clothing, money. You see what I'm saying? But Jesus is not speaking in a material language. He's speaking in a spiritual language. He's saying, except those portals open up and show you what is yours, you cannot be born again. I have people constantly saying, God told me to go out here and bring them into the kingdom. And I'm saying, but how can you show them the kingdom? Well, the scriptures tell me to do it. Yeah, but what do you have to show them? What in your life can they hook into and go, yeah, I see this? Well, I got scripture. Yeah. But he also said, tell my disciples. What is a disciple? One that has taken my teachings and has digested them to the point to where they are now lopping off the dead, self-cutting. The dead limbs of your life are falling away, and the ones that are producing fruit are being pruned and are continuously bearing fruit. He says, carry that place of what? Lopping off, pruning, and bearing fruit. That's Jerusalem, the holy city, meditation. Tarry in Jerusalem until you be what? Endued with power from on high. What? those revelations begin to manifest themselves as your life. And what are they doing? They are destroying all of the things that would come to suggest to you that you are alone in this world. You stay there and you stay there in that meditation for however long it takes. You stay there until the fruitage of this is going to move you into directions that God can remedy to show his other children that he is here. But you going and telling them that you got some power that'll save them, you better check that. Tarry in Jerusalem until he sends you out. And when I tell my friend that, they don't like that. Why? Because they know they have not found his power. They know that this power has not found them. They're basing everything on scriptural evidence, scriptural writings. It doesn't work. Yes, those scriptures are true. They're 100% true, and if you can go past 100, yeah. But you cannot woo somebody into the kingdom of heaven by telling them scriptures. And one thing that we really need to look at is Jesus said, if you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you shall be like me. Isn't that what he said? No man shall have any contention with you to overtake you. And then he said, I'm going to put it in my word. If I eat food every day, I'm pretty much guaranteed that I'm going to be nourished by whatever the ingredients or the good nourish, the vitamins and whatnot in that food, right? So he's saying that if you eat my lessons, if you follow and believe my lessons, if I eat food, I grow up healthy, don't I? Is that something that I make happen? No, physically, no. It's the ingredients in the food. It's the nutrients in the food. And they are giving signs that I'm eating, are they not? I can choose to be a vegetarian and grow up strong. I can choose to be a meat eater and grow up strong. But it's the nutrients in the food that are giving off signs. Now, what did Jesus say? These signs, I hope you see where I'm headed. The signs are automatic. They're automatic. You can't just do stuff and expect to see signs, the ones you're looking for, but you can do stuff and expect to see it. If you keep eating from the tree of life, he's saying the signs will automatically out-express themselves because of the nutrients you're taking in. Oh, my goodness. That means then I could just be walking through crowds. I could be walking anywhere, and people could be healed because it's the nutrients. You're like the flower that's walking outside of the flower bed and just giving off the essence. Why? Because what you're keeping in your conscience is the understanding that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. All that the Father has is mine. And if I can ever get to the place where I accept the fact that I have what the Father has, to him will much more be given. So if I just keep eating, I hope y'all hearing that. Well, how come it's not working? You haven't eaten enough. Or that which you have eaten has not digested itself or, spread itself throughout your system enough. But be not dismayed. If you continue to meditate, if you continue to love the Lord, if you continue to remind yourself, I'm in the Father. The Father is in me. The other day I was praying, it's been about a week ago, and I just said, Lord, something. I asked the question, and I was going on, and this scripture popped in my head and said, in him was life, and that life was the light of all men. And I said, wow, that's good. And I went on, and about a minute later, there it was again. And about 10 minutes later, there it was again. I said, oh, God, that must have been you. You want me to contemplate this. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't just a scripture that came. It was from my digestive system was sending to me the answer to what I had prayed. In him was life. Well, where is life? In him. Live and move. So where is life? In me. And where am I? In him. And where is he? Everywhere. See how those concepts got to come together? They come together intellectually. Oh, yeah, I see it. But until that portal opens up and you realize, I am the health of thy countenance. Oh, God. So you're the one that's walking around as me. Or let me flip that. I am the one that's walking around as you. Oh, when you see me, you see him that sent me. I and the Father are one. See the hole? See I'm digging? You're digging further and further in that mind, but that portal still got to open up, and you got to see one. That which I am seeking, I am. See the intensity? All this is coming to you while you're walking around with your friends, and you can't say anything to them. Can you see it? You can't say anything to them. Why? They think you're crazy. How dare you say, when I see you, I'm looking at him. But as you are taking these nutrients in and meditating on them, the money changes in the temple are being cast out. These are the beliefs that we have carried by looking at the appearances of this world and judging by those appearances and setting up our offense, defense in life to be able to combat what is coming at us. Those are the money changes. God is saying, if you're in me, what type of protection do you need to formulate? Whoa. If you're in me, what do you need to think about? Take no thought for your life. If you're in me, I am with you always. The throne is not a double-seated throne. You're not sitting in one seat and God's sitting on the other. Who's sitting? Oh, Lord, the abomination of abominations with Daniel. Who's sitting on your throne? God is saying, let me be the one. Let me be that which takes care of my life, which is appearing as my life. Can you see how you're getting drowned out now? He's not making a place for you. He said, I am that I am. I sit and I wonder, what in the world did Moses, what did he get when he went on that mountain and come off talking about some I am that I am? As long as we have a God outside of us that we're going to get to do something, is that one? I'll let you answer that for yourself. Jesus said, when you see me, I have the authority to speak as this God that you're seeking. When you see me, you see him that sent me. I and the Father are one. But I only say what the Father says to say, and I only do what I see him do. Wow. One. Now, here's your question. Here's intensity again. Father, what is one? What is one? How do I get rid of me and you? Because Jesus said, when you see me, you see the one. When they asked him about the way, what did he say? I am the way. Oh, my gosh, man. Look what you're asking me to do. No, I'm just suggesting that you take this into contemplation and see what is said to your heart as you contemplate it. There must come a realization of the truth and then a tending to this truth until the fruitage is expressed. If there is no expression, you keep tending. See what I'm saying? You don't get discouraged and say, well, this ain't working. This is not working. It took Moses 40 years. Why do you think that you can do better? I would love to do better. I've been, something like 37. But the bottom line is that portal keeps opening. And every time it opens, it separates me a little bit more from the beliefs in this world. Not the people. I'm having to learn to curb my conversation so as not to embattle them in a bad situation. I know how to do that. I know how to just say, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I understand. I know how to do that. I don't have to tell you, no, that ain't right. You're doing it wrong. That's the last thing people want, for you to tell them they're wrong. Because if they're wrong, they got to start all over again, don't they? And they got to ask you, well, what's right? Now you become Lord of their life, and they don't want that. Trust in the revelation at all costs will cause your erroneous beliefs, which I call money changers. It'll cause them to fade. You won't go in and fight with them. You understand? Like Jesus went in, you won't go in and beat them out. They starve. Truth will starve them out. And when the truth starves them out, they will fade. This is an intense process that must be practiced by you alone. No one can do it for you, for you must see with conviction that there is only God, and the visible seen is temporal and illusory. The revelation of revelations is that there is only God, and this scene, this world, this environment that we're living in is temporal, meaning everything in it changes. There's absolutely nothing in this world that will stay as it is this moment. And illusory, meaning it's just something to see. Why? Because the reality of you is that essence of life that you use to run this body, to make decisions. Paul said that the mortal mind is enmity with God. And I agree with him. If you use your mind, the mortal of the sensory perception, the mortal, I see this and I base this on, if you use that, it's enmity. It's you ruling. It's going against God. So therefore, with the mind, serve God. You can't serve God split. You can't split it. You can't serve God on Sunday and do whatever you want to do, the rest of the 6 days. It's impossible. Therefore, every day must be declared as a Sabbath in your life, and you must serve God every day, meaning do not work. No man works on the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a day of rest. I got to go to work. That's not what he meant. You go to work. Go work your job. He's saying do not work with making decisions of what's good and what's bad for you, because I have given you a Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So if the Sabbath was made for man, that means I'm supposed to be resting. If I'm resting, then who's making decisions? God is making the decisions, because I have entrusted all that I have, and, well, not all that I have, I've entrusted all that I am. And if I entrust all that I am, I'm saying there is an essence that knows how to live in this environment that it created. Did y'all get that? I'm just scared to give up. See, that's where we are. I'm just scared to give up because I've been taught to do the best I can with what I have. And God is saying, no. You need to understand just who I am. You need to understand just what I have, and you need to entrust everything to me and walk into a place knowing that I've already gone in before you, that I am standing in front of you as a shield and a buckler, that I am with you always, and following you are the fruitage, or following you is the fruitage of my relationship. It is attaching itself to you because you have found me. You will not be able to explain it to people other than telling them, seek ye first the kingdom of God as I have. And as they come and they want to blame you for stuff that's not happening, you just look at them and say, yeah, I hear you. Now, if you believe them, you're off the rail. You're off the rail. Because God said, if you trust in me, you will never be ashamed. You will never be discouraged. So therefore, I'm back on the rail. I am not holding myself responsible for anything other than meditation on the truth of God. That's it. If I neglect that, then I'm guilty. But if I'm constantly reminding myself that where the Spirit of the Lord is, I am, and he will never leave me, and when I go there, he welcomes me, and he gives me all that he has, well, he doesn't give it to me because he's already given it to me. So therefore, I am going there to be made aware that nothing shall by any means get past me because I am honoring that which is everything. The intensity of self-surrender is great. I mean, huge. Peril and adversity appear at every turn until the big house is entered. But wait a minute, Rev, you just said a little bit earlier that in him we live, right? In him we move and have our being. Isn't that the big house? Yes, it is. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. But you just said that adversity and peril confront me until I enter the big house. Yes. Until the portal opens and you realize spiritually that you are in the big house. What shall I fear? What shall I be afraid? What can man do to me if I'm in the big house? And I know I'm in the big house. See, the scriptures tell us that that God has a big house and it's full of mansions, and we are trying to use up our life to do what? Get in. And he's telling you you're already in the big house, but you have to become consciously aware that that's where you are. And when you get there, you have reached the Sabbath of God, where you lay down all your tools and you just simply wait and listen until God is realized as the very life, mind, soul of one. The intensity will remain. Get away from out here trying to prove to people that you know God. That's the least of the things you need to be sharing with people. Well, what should I be sharing with people? Whatsoever they ask of you, if you can, freely you have received, give it to them. And your mind automatically goes where? Money. He said whatsoever, didn't he? So what if understanding is all you can give them? Freely. Don't try to sell them understanding. Give it to them freely. Why? Because it was freely given to you. You did the work for it. I had a guy tell me the other day, I went in to pay for some dinners, and he looked at me and he said, that'll be $26. And I said, no, that ain't right. He said, what do you mean? I said, it should be $40-some. He said, didn't you order half racks? I said, no, I ordered 2 full racks. Oh, man, we're going to have to make you some more. I said, okay. He said, it's going to take about 10 minutes. I said, okay. He said, wow, thank you for your patience. I said, yeah. In some instances, I was born with it. I'll just go sit in my vehicle, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. You see what I'm saying? But you just have to keep doing. You have to keep working, because God said if you do this, these signs, I'm looking for automatic, y'all. I'm not looking to be able to go out here and say something and watch it happen. God said these signs would automatically follow me. Doesn't corn automatically form on the stalk? Don't beans automatically? Tomatoes, don't they automatically? All you got to do is tend the soil, right? What soil? Good soil. Good soil. God said if you tend the soil, what? Let the seed drop. Let it drop in good soil. I will promote the signs that follow. Who will come in your garden if you don't guard your garden? Who will come in and eat? The deer will come first, won't it? The mole will come second, won't it? And them 2-legged things will come if you're not careful. They'll come in there, right? Okay, then. If he is giving you automatic signs, don't you think people are going to come to eat from your tree? Because you are now representative of the tree of life. You don't have to go out here and make people know that you know God. Trust me. If you see a light off in the distance, don't you see it? And you know how to get to it, don't you? Trust me. God knows how to draw them to the light which he is, and he is not using your body to do it. Did y'all get that? Don't you dare think he's using your body. He's using his body. And he calls his body Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. The temple must be realized as it is, not as a person housing God, but as God housing. Attain the search and the intensity is no more. God bless you.